Hello and welcome to Founders Amplified, where we spotlight underrepresented founders who are driving innovation and impact across various industries and sectors across the globe. I'm your host, Narayan Kulkarni, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Today's guest is Christelle Pillot. Christelle is the founder of the Freedom Catcher Academy. Her specialty is potential analysis, career optimization, and team building at home. Since 2015, Christelle has been teaching dozens of women, companies, schools, and executives. Christelle owns a chemical engineering master's degree and is certified as a coach and trainer with a specialty in emotional intelligence. Christelle speaks French, English, and German. Christelle is driven, result-oriented, and has a dynamic business mindset, helping her clients create a balanced and effective life rhythm, clarify their life purpose, and take massive action to build a meaningful and profitable career. She quickly assesses professional and personal situations and always finds creative win-win solutions. Working with her is a treat because she ensures her clients achieve the results they're after. So, now that you know a little bit about Christelle, let's dive in to the conversation. Welcome to Founders Amplified. Christelle, it is so great to have you with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me with you. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Likewise, again, thanks so much for joining us. And now to kick things off, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your journey. So could you tell me and our audience what led you to become a founder and if there were any particular moments or experiences that sparked that decision?
No, yes, well, for sure, there is always like specific moments, the shift moment or the aha moment. Um, I have been in Germany for more than 20 years, and why I'm saying that because I started my career as an engineer in Germany. And I developed the German market for a French company. So that was my task. I was coming in Germany and trying to figure out how to find clients and how to sell our product as a French company. I have done that during I think 15 years or something like that. It was really demanding, really interesting. I moved to international sales at some point, so having the honor to travel and to discover as well different kind of culture and languages. We just spoke about languages before. And that was really interesting. Like this part, this people part, the psychology of the sales and so on was interesting, but the technical part was less of my passion. I was convinced about our product, but not really my passion. And I had different moments during my career where I was like, I want to change. I want to do something when I know I have an impact. And as an engineer, I didn't have this impression. Everybody could do my work without big difficulty. I believed at least. And I wanted to change, but it's not always easy because people tell you you should stay there, or because you have children, or because for so many reasons, every time I went back to doing what I was doing. And in 2013, I lost a baby and I felt really depressed. I had this depression moment before, but this one was heavier, longer, deeper. And this one, I was afraid. And I thought if I don't change something now in my life, if I really don't look at what is important and why I am in this earth, then maybe I will lose everything because I wasn't the mom I wanted to be. I wasn't in good term with my husband at that moment. I wasn't motivated with my job and not performing the way I wanted. So I had the feeling that I was losing everything. And at that moment, I was like, okay, now I really have to pause. and to think about why I'm here. So what is my mission, and where can I have the biggest impact? And that's what the start of like the real shift in my life. So what I found out at the end is that it's when we have this moment really what I am doing, what is the impact I want to have. So many we don't we have no clue. We don't know. And I tested different things, and it took me a while and before I really understood, okay, it's I want to be coach and I want to help people. At the beginning, it was with mindfulness because I am a lot into mindfulness. But then I moved to helping people to, yeah, find the impact they want to have in this earth and just do it.
Wow. Thanks so much for sharing that. You shared a lot of beautiful, but also like really challenging experiences. I particularly admire how you've talked about originally being an engineer and then wanting to go into impact work. And then transitioning from there, that kind of relates because I come from a high performing medical family, and I'm around a lot of people who are like we're in the like having a conservative approach to career, like very technically oriented, thinking, okay, like people don't really, that doesn't really matter. And then your point about mindfulness also resonates because I do mindfulness. Like I've practiced mindfulness myself for like many, many years.
Mhm.
And I also, lastly, I'm saddened to hear your perspective. Like, it sounds like there were a lot of challenging experiences, like losing a baby, like not performing. But then it sounds wonderful how like, you're able to use that and then really pause and then introspect into developing something that was not only sounds very fulfilling for you, but also helping other people of some like really find their fulfillment at challenging points in their lives. So I applaud and I'm amazed at what you've shared. So thank you so much for your perspective. Now, I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into some of the aspects of what you just shared. So, it sounds like, for example, your identity as a mom, your identity as an engineer might have shaped what you did. So, can you tell me and our audience more about parts of your identity and story that you feel give you a unique perspective as a founder?
Hmm. Let me think of it. Well, there is it's a lot of things. So my clients usually are international teams or international women, and so I think uh, I think so the entrepreneur part or the founder part is comes. I believe it comes from my parents because they always try to do something new, sometimes with a lot of success, sometimes less. And I felt this energy at home. Like every time they went in a new project, and then at that time we had no internet and stuff like that. So people came home, and then I was like 6 years old, but all what I can remember, it's like this energy. So my parents were busy, but with this positive energy, I had the feeling that that was life. And I kept having that in my mind or in my body. So really like feeling the energy in the body. And I was like, I want the same when I grow up. And I think that's why I started my first job as engineer in Germany, because it was the beginning of something. It was creating something for this French company. And that shaped me a lot. So, like being a daughter shaped me a lot. Being this engineer pioneer trying to grow something, to build something in Germany, in another language, in another country, that definitely built my way of thinking and knowing that things are not easy. You just have to do, even if you are not the best, do it. At some point, you have the breaking through. And I am a mom of three. I have three boys. Um, and that helps me as well because so many women just get stuck because of the fact that they are mom and because of the society telling them it's not okay. And I have that a bit in Germany, that society tells me if you have a mom or if you are a mom of three, you cannot be an entrepreneur, you cannot be um, um, ambitious. or you can be ambitious for your family, maybe, but not for yourself and not for your business. And I don't agree with that. And I even go further. I think it's important as a woman to be fulfilled in whatever you do, because it's exactly the lesson you are going to give to your children. And the children, they give us our own lesson back as well. It's really like leadership can be both at work and at home, and at home and at work. So all that makes that I have a way of seeing things differently than maybe some other founder, because of all these different aspects, and like mixing everything, like family and or leadership at home and leadership at work.
Well said. Thanks so much for sharing. Two things that you shared which stuck out. So first of all, the point about energetic awareness as well as like thinking. I think that blend. I always look for and I admire people who have they're able to think about but also notice energetically and blend those into decisions. And so I think what you shared is an amazing example of how you. It sounds like you noticed a lot of the energy of doing, and then that really drove you towards your path. The other thing which you mentioned, and I especially admire this, was it sounds like there are societal norms in Germany, and specifically as you shared, about what moms can or cannot do, which have unfortunately have, and I know because I connect with founders, female founders in different parts of the world. Also, my mom is from India. There are certain like restrictive norms on like what women unfortunately can or cannot
Exactly.
do, and but to also to the point that you mentioned, like parenting is an extraordinary form of leadership. This is something I first learned when I actually watched a big lecture series by Talpan Shahar on like leadership, and then I like also think about say my mom for example. So she taught me a lot about empathy. She taught me a lot about like self awareness, and in a way that I think really rounded out my leadership style. But also, like she has told me, yeah, that I have taught her a lot about the world and about just like being like engaging with things. So I also appreciate what you shared that like leadership for from a parent to a child, but also just in general, like it's a give and take. When also I'm a mentor, I mentor like lots of different people around the world. So I definitely see this dynamic as well. So I really appreciate how you've talked about those identities and how they shape your story.
Yeah.
Now, so the next thing I'd love to know about is so with Freedom Catcher Academy, with your work, I mean, you obviously like really help women. You help people with going ahead and like finding their purpose, finding their why. I understand that that's one key part of what you do, but I'm sure you approach it in a very unique way. So can you tell me and our audience what is something about your approach or about your way of working that might make people like think about like coaching or what you're doing in a unique or like a different way.
What I do is exactly what I couldn't find somewhere else. So as I wanted to be a coach, I looked at I coach, and so I couldn't find someone that took me seriously because I was a mom of three and a woman. So it was like how you want a hobby on top of being a mom, or yeah, you want to build something small. So I want women to understand, women and other others, to be honest, but I want them to understand that if you want to think big, so go and find someone thinking big, but really being able to start with the first steps, because I understand that sometimes people want to think big, but they are not ready to do like the small steps. When you build a business at the beginning, you have to do everything. Um, and you have to be ready to do everything. So that's the first thing. The second thing is what I do is that I'm not only a coach, I am really someone being present. I don't take much client. I choose my client. I have really good results. So if you go there, you can see I just got a certificate for an award for my services. So I look at if I can really help, and if I can help during 3 months or 6 months, I am going to be with you all the time. Not only like with coaching sessions or with online platform, but being with you every day if we need to be together every day. So I am all about results, and my engagement, it's not only giving you the tools, but is making that you get the results. And I found that there is not so many um, businesses coach, so in the service like coach doing that. They usually they give the tool that they have, and that's it. And if you cannot follow, well, so it's because you are not good enough. And I don't agree with that. I think that we are so different, our business is so different sometimes, or our way of doing things is so different, that I do very unique mentoring. Look at your strengths, trying to figure out what are your strengths. And for one person, I'm going to say that, and for another person, I might be able to say exactly the contrary because of the person. I am an empath. I connect with the emotion of people, and that helps me to figure out so what is the uniqueness in them. So it's what I do differently. And because I had this as well, what I like is what you said about women. So the different place sometimes we have in the society. In India, it's different than in China, in Japan, in France, in Germany. All that are countries that I know very well, or US and so on, or Africa. So for women, it's interesting and it's important to take that under account as well, and then to see what we want to do with that. It's again, it's depending. So that's why I like to work with women, because that is a little bit tricky in comparison with men, where it's more men, you just like you are the doers. So you in every, I think in almost every countries you do, and it's what is asked for you. But for women, it's a little bit different in every country. So we need to have a look at it, and then to see what we want to do with that.
Well said. So thanks for sharing. One of some things that you shared so many amazing points, which I want to pause and like reflect on because I think they're really cool. So first of all, one thing you that I love you mentioned was presence. I mean I have connected with, spoken to a number of different coaches, like experience as well as like coaches in training. The best ones they really focus on mindfulness and presence. So I love that you do that. The other part that you did is like it's very commonly you have like packages, you have like the discovery call, the package, then like here's the curriculum, then you have like the sessions, and like that's that. But what you've shared about it sounds like you bring in elements of personalization just in your style with like being an empath as you've mentioned, but also it sounds like yeah, you're balancing that and contextualizing that within results that the individual needs. And
Yes.
that's really important. And finally, to the point you mentioned about like, and I also appreciate that you have elaborated on this point that like women in different countries, different cultural contexts have different like needs, but also men might like stereotypically be like more action driven. I personally believe, I know this because I have done a lot of my own self analysis through personality tests like reflection, astrology, gratitude, big five, all these like everything you can think of. And I actually, yes, I'm a man. I identify with both a blend of masculine and feminine traits. So I think, and what I see it's going, but should be, I believe, much quicker. I think gender is like seeing gender and like going out of gender norms is really important. So yes, encouraging women to step into more like masculine coded energy, but also having men step into more feminine coded energy, whatever is resonant with them. What I appreciate that you mentioned is like you
Yeah.
directly, but also
I
indirectly
agree. Exactly. I agree with
context
that.
as well as individual people, that balance can look very different. And
Yeah.
it sounds like
Yeah.
your personalization really and your being an empath allows you to really tune into and work with people at that level that they really need.
Yeah, but because depending of the country, depending as well the partnership we have with our husband or wife and so on, so we are going to have different kind of strategies as well. So for some women, maybe they would like to go a little bit against the society because they feel that the path they should have, and some for some women it's like, yeah, well. I don't feel going in this direction. I don't feel that is it's my fight, but I would still want to do my stuff. So how to do that? So it's really depending of, I work a lot as well with personality test or with Clifton Strengths assessment, for instance, in order to see what are our strengths and how to deal with that. So many people feel that they have a weakness, but when we work with that, they can shift it into a strength, or vice
Mhm.
versa. They think, oh, I thought that was my weakness, but now I see it differently, and I can use that more powerfully or with more awareness. And I believe that awareness is really the beginning of everything, because after that we can work on it, take the decision of, do I want to go in this direction or not? And it's only for me. And I do mostly for women, but I do have men in coaching with me too. And usually, indeed, so they like uh, to be more open on the feminine side, because it's one way to lead differently as well. So to open the leadership in some other with other tools eventually. So it's always interesting to work. I hope at some point we will be able to just work with who we are, and not with how we are women or men, in which kind of society we are evolving. And then it will help us to just find out what is the thing that I want to do, the why, the how, and the what I do, and then I just go for that. I just arrange myself with my family and my partners, and then we find the best compromise or the best way to work together and to thrive together.
Well said. And to a point that you made, yes, I also, of course, do hope in a world where one can go ahead and, yes, everyone can embrace their identity as a form of strength without fear that like they or others will limit them based on what that is. Unfortunately, I do believe our world is still in a place of growth where in many places in the world that is like there's not the case, but I do see positive change everywhere. And I share with your vision. I appreciate that you mentioned this point about like working with people at the level of who they are, and then like without labels or restrictions, and then really allowing people to really flourish as their authentic selves. And to the point about awareness, it's also is amazing because you also mentioned earlier that the point about presence and how you value presence.
Mm.
So the next thing I'd love to learn about from your perspective is, so you obviously make a lot of you work, sounds very closely, very thoughtfully with your clients, and not taking many, but like sounds like you have really quality results that you get with certain clients. And so I'm curious. Let's, I guess, zoom out after like the client relationship that you have to five, like say 5, 10 years. How are you seeing the lives of your clients transform? That show you that what you're doing with Freedom Catcher Academy is working. And the other side of the question is, what do you see in the results in your business in like 5 or so years that show you that what you're doing is working?
Okay, so the result that I see in my clients. So my clients usually, so after 3 or 6 months, really depending, some of them they just change the way of thinking and they stay in the same job, but they go one step further, or they are just more impactful in their job with more ease. The energy part is very important. Like I love to do energy management and not only time management, because if you have no energy, you can have a great time management. It's not going to help you out. So the easiest way or case is like they are happy after 3 months and they move a bit, they shift a bit, and that's it. For the others, well, they changed their life completely. So one of my clients, for instance, in like France, she was in the working at the government in France, in Paris, and after program with me, she told me, oh, it's not only my job that I want to change, I want to change my life. I don't want to live in Paris anymore. I want to live on the seaside and to leave this French government because it's really toxic, and I want to do like my own business. and it's what she has. Like she goes every morning, bare feet in the sea, and then she has her own business. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time with my client because they go back to study. They build their own business. One of my clients this year, she stopped her corporate work and now she's building her business. So it's too early to speak about it. Um, but it's going to be really great. She's so energetic about it. Or they leave the country and they get a new job, like from being in Italian to go to Germany and so on. So that are the results of my clients. And how I see myself with my business in 5 years, or what's going to be the impact. Well, the great thing is that usually I continue to collaborate with my clients if it's possible. So it's like really like a big community. It's not only like working with me during 3 months and that's it, but it's more how can we continue to surf on this nice energy and to serve even better while having fun and ease and more impact. It's all what we have in mind. And so I I don't have like I don't like to have like a very tight plan about what I want to do in 5 years because I love the idea to create, and creation can goes in every direction. So I just I can imagine. So we are going to be a team of coach. We have been already, and then helping and doing projects together and building this community even further and further and further. And I have already client everywhere on the globe. I look above because I have my big world map there. We are doing a retreat in Africa next year with one ex-client of mine. She is a partner now. So we are organizing retreat in order to have like this mindfulness, this presence and this space, this inner space, in order to be able to really change, or not change, but look what's going on like very deep inside of us, and to take the time to calm down and pause.
Wonderful. It's amazing to hear that the impacts could look anywhere from just a different mindset to a very big life change to your clients, as well as in your case, it sounds like just like building that large community, which then becomes global, goes physical, and also like leads to a broader and broader business, which ultimately like leads to more like fulfillment for everyone. So that's thanks for sharing that. But your point that you made, yes, creation can occur in so many different forms, and sometimes it's just wonderful. Just be present and trust the process and let it unfold.
Exactly, very organically, like a
Mhm.
tree doesn't really like look at, I'm going to have this one here and this one here. It's more like growing and looking at where there is space to grow at the right moment. So I believe that for me, that's the right way.
Well said. So it looks like and sounds like you've had quite the journey so far in your work. And I'm curious, what is one thing you know now as a founder that you wish you had known prior to beginning?
My strength, and that's why with my client, oh, there is different things, but one is my strength. So, and my with my clients, we work really deeply in what are their strengths, because this thing that we do so easily, we think, well, that's normal. Everybody does that, so it's nothing special, and it's exactly where we are so powerful. But when we know our strength, and that it's really something that I would like people to understand, that when you do any kind of assessment or personality test, it's great. And then you read the results and yeah, okay, nice. And then that's it. You put that on the side, and then like a week after, you don't remember what was written on the paper. And that's a pity because there is so many nice good tests. So the one that you shared before. So if you do a test, try to keep that in your mind and try to to be aware, to observe what's going on in your daily life and to see how you use your strength, maybe how your strengths are different than the strengths of the others, because that's going to help you to be more unique and more powerful in your self-confidence, but as well the way you solve problems. So my way of solving problems is completely different than the way of solving problems of my husband because we are different. Our strengths are different. And when we know that we are more in our power, and I can understand even today that I give myself more space to trust my strength and then to use them even better and therefore to be better at what I do and have more impact in where I would like to. So strength is so cool. And another one I wanted to share that comes, it's gone. It's gone. Strength, I would say then. I had another one, but it's gone now. Maybe it will come afterwards.
That's okay, but I love your perspective, not only on understanding and learning about one's strengths, but monitoring them over time and having sustained awareness on how they're used.
Yeah, and
And to your
build
point
on
about like,
them.
and to build on them, to the point that you share, which I appreciate, is it sounds like you and your husband have two very different strengths. Understanding how people around you in different partnerships or different relationships have similar or different strengths and how to counterbalance those.
Exactly.
And in the interest of the both that strong personal professional relationship or like just the shared impact that one is trying to make.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
there is
amazing.
one thing that I say always my client is like know yourself. So it's really like knowing your values, knowing your stories, because that helps you to understand what is negotiable, what is not negotiable. Know yourself, trust yourself. So it's all about trust you and the universe. Trust that it's going to be fine. So it gives you more power and choose yourself. Put yourself in the center of your life and don't let other dictate you what you have to do because you are the best person knowing what is important to you and what is you think is important for your environment. So that would be the three things that I try every day to put more and more and more in my life and in the life of my clients.
Well said. Well said. So, how can people find you and support your work?
Well, they can find me a little bit everywhere, but so you can put my name Christelle Pillot, and then you can find me on LinkedIn. It's where I am the most. LinkedIn, Instagram a bit, and I have a website, Christelle Pillot or christellepilot.com. And you can find a bit what I do. It's I would say it's where you can find me best and how you can support my work is if you like about fulfillment, about impact, about international mindset or how to work internationally, and you think that we can do something together, just connect with me so we can have a chat.
Wonderful. And so, to our audience, you'll find some of Christelle's information in the show notes below. So, now it's time for our signature question. Can you please fill in the blank? I amplify.
I amplify human life.
Well said. Amplifying
That's
human
it.
life in the
Yeah.
context of our, first of all, profound statement, but also in the context of our conversation, really amazing and meaningful. And I just want to end by saying thank you so much, Christelle, for being on the podcast, for sharing your journey and your insights. It was so cool to connect, speak to you,
Thank
and
you.
hear more about the innovative things you're doing with Freedom Catcher Academy as a coach and the impacts that that's going to promise for the entire world. And I also want to pause and celebrate you for being an incredible leader and inspiration to underrepresented founders around the world. And so, as I reflect on our conversation, a few things that I wanted to just mention, which I appreciate, are the following. So, first of all, like I when you use the word awareness presence, as I told you, I am someone who loves meditation. I think your points about bringing those as a coaching tool as well as just a way of being, I think that duality is amazing. And I think that that's so important for both how one engages, but also how one is able to help with others. The second, something else which I appreciate specifically about how you work is being a coach that works internationally and really like holds space with like international partners, international clients, but also like is with people internationally. I think that that's a growing importance, but like I think it's really, really key. And also how you've mentioned how you see that and you understand intuitively and more explicitly intersections of identities with women that you work with clients that you work with, and how that affects how you work. And finally, I think something that I appreciate were your points about a strengths-based approach. I think that's thrown around a lot, but I think it sounds like you really bring that to a level of personalization to a client, and then really like in a way that helps them really transform who they are in addition to their results.
Exactly.
In a way, and also meeting them where they are with their results, and also to the point about energy and energetic awareness. And that, like, it sounds like that's something that you have been aware from a very young age, but then are using that through like engaging with supporting clients in a way that really resonates with them. So I want to just share some of those things. And I, again, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing your amazing insights.
Thank you very much. If I may just add one thing about this awareness or mindfulness, being present, I believe that it's going to be even more important in the coming years, because we are going to have the AI, and we are in an accelerating world. Everything goes so quick, and with so many birds and so much information and so on. So I think that in order to stay calm and relaxed and flexible and adapt, we need to have like this alignment, to have this space, inner space, because if we are not able to keep it, to train it, we are going to be smashed with all the information and the speed of this world. So it's really what the last 6 months I worked a lot about future skills and how the world is evolving. I work with schools as well regarding this. And it's my take is, again, is like we need to be able to have this inner space, this quiet inner space inside, in order to be able to not always respond or react, but to be able to act properly. So I believe it's going to be even more important in the coming months and years.
Well said. Thanks so much, Christelle. I totally agree. With AI, awareness will be more important. Again, thanks so
Yeah.
much for being on the podcast. Look forward to staying in
Thank you.
touch, but bye for now.
Bye for now.
To our listeners, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Founders Amplified. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am. If you'd like to learn more about our guest and support them, check out the show notes for their details. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a rating, share it with someone you know, and follow us for more inspiring episodes like this one. If you're a founder who is driving innovation and impact in any industry or sector anywhere in the world and would like to be a guest, we'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes for more information. And finally, remember that you, yes, you, have the power to amplify the voices around you. Whether you're a colleague, family member, friend, funder, mentor, or just another fellow human, your support matters. So I invite you to celebrate and uplift the underrepresented innovators in your life who are driving innovation and impact. Let's create a better future for everyone, together. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep amplifying.